Hi guys, obviously I'm just answering a few questions with regards to supplements. So a few people have asked me, what's kind of the baseline, the kind of essential things that you need to take if you're training. So all I'm going to do is just break down a couple of supplements that I personally use and I would recommend, and give a little bit of an explanation of how it all works, so you guys have a bit more of an insight when you are training to what you're taking and why you have to take it. So the first most important, I'd say, really, is your multivitamins. Now, the reason why I put that as one of the most highest and most important things is if you are kind of trying to get in really good shape and you are dieting, you are going to be getting a healthy diet, but there's certain things that you might need to exclude to sort of lower your body fat percentage. Typically, with us kind of guys who are trying to gain muscle, it's about having a high protein index, and you're not really having anything that has sucrose in it. So fruits become quite a challenge to have. And obviously they contain lots of important things. So you mainly get your micronutrients from a multivitamin. So as I've explained in previous blogs, macros consist of protein, carbs and fats, and the main index that you play about with to improve kind of your physique as such. That's what we kind of look at. But your micronutrition, your multivitamins, basically what they do, they make sure all your internal functions and everything are going on properly, your immune system's high, because ultimately you're putting your body under stress. And if you haven't got a very strong immune system and you haven't buffed it up with multivitamins, you're probably going to get run down, not be able to get the most out of your workouts and start getting a little unwell. So most important thing I would take, anyone, is obviously number one, diet is key, make sure that's right. And also take your multivitamins, okay? So the next thing, we're moving on from multivitamins, I would say the next essential thing is branched chain amino acids. Branched amino acids, what they do, they basically create a sheath or a recovery block around your arms or whatever area you're training. So for instance, if I'm training, what it will do is it will basically protect my muscle from being attacked. When you are training, your body identifies muscle and fat as an energy source. By consuming branched chain amino acids, you basically keep your muscles in a safe environment, you protect your muscle so that it just really attacks the fat. Leucine is the main prevalent branched chain amino acids, and with that, basically, that helps you with branched amino, it helps you synthesize protein. So after you train, it helps you basically absorb and take on protein, and basically stops your muscles. Well, it doesn't stop, but it helps prevent muscle wastage or muscle loss. So if you are doing a cutting phase cycle, your carbs are getting quite low, your body's crying out to try and grab onto something to convert to energy, you are at risk if it starts to attack muscle. So branched chain amino acids, I drink. My most favourite brand I use is Extend, and I tend to take Extend from the morning, sometimes all the way throughout. I get like a big gallon of water and put a couple of scoops in it, and it just gives my water a bit of flavour, and ultimately it helps me just support and maintain my muscles. So we've covered multivitamins, we've covered branched amino acids. Next things is like your fish oils, so your omegas 3, 6 and 9s and flax seeds. You can get certain multivitamins that have these in them as well, but what they basically do is they actually, the first thing that's quite important about fish oils, etc., they actually do promote weight loss and natural fats, and they're quite good for that. They're also known to help improve brain function. If any of you have tried cutting and losing a lot of body fat, when you start getting down in your body fat, you need a certain amount of body fat for your brain to function, so it's important to have these essential fatty acids in your system. Another thing with it, it also helps with lubrication and it helps with the joint. So there's other things that it does as well, but the main three things to kind of focus on is the fact that it will help with your joints. It helps with weight loss and weight management, like I previously said as well. So we're going to move on from your omegas. We've covered multivitamins, we've covered your branched amino acids. So there's lots of different types of proteins to take, but I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible. The main kind of protein I take on board is you can get most of your stuff from your diet. I mean, they say casein is a good bridge meal, so if you're struggling, you can have casein in between meals to bridge meal because it's quite thick. You can make it almost with water into like a porridge, However, the most important protein I'd say take is a protein isolate. The reason is it's the fastest digesting protein, and the only time I really consume any protein powder or take on protein shakes, because it's obviously artificial. I try to keep it all based on my diet and my macros. The only time I really take on any protein is post-workout. So with whey isolate, it's the fastest digesting protein, meaning it goes into your system and it starts helping and feeding your muscles straight away, protecting obviously your gains and your body. So with whey isolate, when you're taking it, you really have what we call the anabolic window. They say 45 minutes after your workout, you should really sort of get that protein shake down your neck. And the most important protein shake to get down your neck would be a whey isolate. Okay. So the final thing I will say, which can be a little bit sort of controversial, is I'd say sort of about like a pre-workout. Now, what it does, obviously, when you are training, sometimes you have your load days. So I'm just going to talk about pre-workouts, and they're sort of an essential thing that I use. They're not essential in terms of health or recovery or building blocks of muscle, but what it will do is it will increase stimulation, it will increase focus, and it will be able to maximise you getting the most out of your training. That's why I feel it justifies being within my top 5. With pre-workouts, you do need to be a bit careful, because obviously continuous exposure to caffeine and pre-workouts, it can lead to burnout, adrenal fatigue, depression, all those things. So what I'd say is you cycle it. So you might take it 1 to 2 times a week, and I tend to try and get on without it. But if I ever need to have a serious bust up on a leg session, or I need to seriously hit my chest hard, I'll make sure I really take a good pre-workout. Pre-workouts that I like to use Jym, JYM. It's for a guy that I look up to quite a lot, and I do a lot of research on. His name's Jim Stepani, and the reason why I like the pre-workout is it's not just primarily focused on just stimulating you, but it's got other things in there, such as HMB. It's got glutamine, it's got creatine. So it's got quite a few other little things that basically help you throughout your workout, and just general things you should be taking when you're training. So as opposed to me listing off like creatine is essential and other things, with that you can kind of get that intake. And to be fair, quite a lot of protein powders as well do have built-in like BCAA content, and they have creatine content as well. So the main 5 things then, breaking it down, would be multivitamins, branched chain amino acids, fish oils, whey isolate, pre-workout. That's it.